Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to the 11th hour. So, this puzzle took probably 35 to maybe even 50 minutes to do, to spell out Stauf, S-T-A-U-F, the name of the bad guy ghost of the 7th guest in the 11th hour, who kind of taunts you verbally, but you see only on a few occasions. Fingers crossed you spell it out in the middle here. This puzzle is just bad. I mean, it really doesn't get any more complicated than that. It's just bad. There's just a lot of clicking the green button to go forward, the red button to go backward, and then toggling this switcher so you go to the center or the side channel. I did restart once after I stopped recording, and if this literally doesn't work and you have to spell Stauf, if you have to spell Stauf a different way, that like all the way over here, that would be incredibly frustrating. Part of the problem with this puzzle is that you can't just push things backwards, because then you would have more ways to manipulate the letters than the single way that you really can. And it also seems to sometimes like to jump all the way forward to the other side instead of doing this. Oh my goodness. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. So apparently, by the looks of it, I can't just back up and solve the puzzle in the middle. Apparently, by the looks of it, I am going to have to solve it over on this side. Okay. I'm already using a walkthrough. I'm gonna venture a guess here. If there was a code to to skip a cutscene, maybe there's a code to just skip this, skip a puzzle. So I'm typing into Google, and I'm seeing if maybe there's a way to skip a puzzle here instead of doing it. And nope. It sadly does not seem like there is a way to skip a puzzle. Well, this just sucks. Like, all I should have to do, well, I guess I could click here, and I was thinking maybe there was something else to click on. All I should have to do is back up and I should succeed in the puzzle. But since it won't let me do that, I don't know how to fix that. Because I'd have to just play through all of this again for another 20 minutes. And I guess we can do this. Prepare to suffer, I guess. I guess that's all I can say. Prepare for the suffering, because this is gonna suck. It's going to be the exact same pattern over and over again. We're gonna switch. We're gonna get the mouse in the wrong place because of the second monitor. We're gonna go back. Then we're gonna go forward. Then we're gonna switch. Then we're gonna go down here. Then we're gonna go forward. And then we're gonna switch. And at that point, we start the pattern over again. What this will do is put everything backwards, basically, but it will allow me to push the F all the way to the end. I also won't be able to spell F-U-A-T-S. There's a decent number of words you could spell, like I was able to spell fats at one point. You'd think that if this was a more flushed out game that some insulting comment would be made at that point, but I didn't even have my headphones on at that point, so I don't know if anything was said, but I am fairly certain it wasn't. Okay. So we're just going to push this all the way back, and then we go forward. And now it's going to be the same pattern again, or a new pattern that is going to have to be repeated quite a bit, in which we're going to just grab a letter, and then we're going to go all the way back, which is going to require me to click the back button twice, and then click the forward button twice. Well, no, you don't have to click the forward button twice, just once, which seems oddly inconsistent. The name and the spelling of the name, Stauf, is easily messed up, certainly, because I could easily see people spelling it S-T-U-A-F instead of S-T-A-U-F. But boy, does this come as a puzzle. Way more, it's just way longer. It takes more time than any of the other puzzles. Although, in all fairness, a lot of the other puzzles probably could take as much time as this, but I was simply using the walkthrough. This is definitely another point for this game being one of the few games that I think kind of deserves to just be watched by people if you're interested, and not purchased. Like, I hate to say don't support the video game industry, but I mean, in a weird way, this one gets what it deserves. And I definitely don't want to click down here and reset the puzzle, because that would totally stink. And then you just get train sounds every now and then, seemingly for no reason. And yeah, this is not plugged into anything, and there's no reason why an old broken electric train would work in a house that probably doesn't have any working electricity. Now, if this doesn't work, I have no idea what the solution was supposed to be at that point.
You solved it. Now that's a switch.
Okay, so yeah, that was a big pain in the butt. And we have this number hint, which says after this, you're supposed to turn left and look at the small table and click on the rook. I feel like I should probably save. Just interesting, can't save with a 0. Alright, well then we'll go back and save over on 2. Because I definitely don't want to do that again.
You're getting closer.
How this would be encoded into anything, I don't know. I mean, unless you're supposed to go to the phone. It could be that the game walkthrough really is just telling me the solutions without really telling me the reason why the solutions are the solutions. But I don't really feel like filling in the gaps just to satisfy my curiosity as to why 2 very long numbers are hints at coming over here and clicking on the rook.
Please don't hurt me. No, no more.
Now they both look like ghosts.
Not gonna hurt you.
He's a little bit more solid. She's certainly see-through.
I don't know.
She ran away and left me. I couldn't move. That's her. It's all my fault.
So she wasn't paralyzed yet at that point. Here we've got
Light piece from great orchestra.
Let's see, apparently we're going back to the chapel. Let's see. With that hint, which I guess kind of makes sense. Grave orchestra. Still have 3 places to look in the 2nd floor and 2 places, one of which is not open. And I guess there's one place here not open. But apparently we can't go in here yet. See, and this is what you would run into in a lot of games, where the game is just having to find these arbitrary and artificial reasons for you not to be able to go to specific locations when they don't want you to go to specific locations. And there definitely have been a couple of decades of improvement in game design to make that feel a lot more natural. What you could easily do in this case is simply have all of the events of like the first act happen on the 1st floor, and then have the stairs broken down and blocked off, and then you find like an axe or a key, something that acts like a key to stop a gate of the staircase, stopping you from getting to the 2nd floor. And it would feel very video gamey to then have to do the 2nd floor in the 2nd act, and then the 3rd floor in the 3rd act. And then maybe you open it up a little bit more, and there's something in the whole house you have to do in the 4th act. So we click on that, and here we see what looks like a dead body. Let's see. Still just getting these scenes that really aren't important and don't mean anything. This was the guy that slit the other guy's throat, the husband that was or messing around with the redhead. So the twist, if there is going to be a twist here, might be that this guy is actually the main character. Maybe he is the main character. It's kind of hard to even tell. And he's been running around killing people and placing their corpses in the cursed house, trying to maybe recreate Stauf's trickery.
Easy, Gadget.
Yep, a cheesy gadget that sounds louder. It sounds like something that would be in the kitchen. But we haven't been in the kitchen, so I have no idea what would be there. Leave the chapel, go downstairs into the kitchen, look at the table straight in front of you and see a plate puzzle. So it was in the kitchen. Now we're just trying to verbally guess as to where the next hint wants us to go, and then I'm using the walkthrough to just save time instead of wandering around. This game might be improved with having a score element, like, because then you might have an excuse for people to wander around if they're just wandering around, like finding little collectibles, finding more backstory, increasing the score. I would say if this game had a timer element, that's probably a terrible idea for a puzzle game, particularly these terrible puzzles. But yeah, if there was some form of encouragement to make you want to wander around some more, I think that would be cool. This just kind of looks like it's not even animated. Over here there was a secret entrance at one point through the oven. It really got crazy, some of those secret passageways. And there's a whole exit through the door. I don't know if we ever did anything with it. And so here we have a puzzle. What's the goal?
There's an extra plate, you know, on your skull.
Let's see. Help.
The object
We have a
is to
dripping
create
sound.
5 stacks of 2 plates on every point of the star pattern.
You need to stack 2 plates on each point of the pinnacle, making the following moves. Apparently. So, it's saying to do this on this one. I don't know how that worked. Apparently it just jumps and kind of horribly visually glitches. Again, I really just don't have any interest in trying to solve this legitimately, so we'll just put in the answer. I guess maybe the idea is that only either on the circle or straight lines these things can move, or maybe these always move for spaces. It says the second one goes to 7, which would be over here, and that would be 4 spaces, or more accurately 3 plates. It says this one to this one. And yeah, again, we're just having a terrible experience of the game explaining what it wants.
Curse you!
And then it says next turn right. Well, let's look at the hint. A cheesy gadget that sounds larger, which would be a cheese grater, and here's a cheese grater. And there's a bunch of fingers wiggling around. That was grotesque.
$500 equals 100 equals 0.
Okay. What would that mean? means absolutely nothing to me. But apparently, according to the walkthrough, it means I should go to the laboratory. Maybe it's a reference to that terrible Game of Life puzzle that was in the first game. That thing was so bad that they sort of patched it to make it less random, and it still was pretty bad in the remake of the first game. Or I think they kind of patched it so you didn't have to do it. You didn't have to solve all the puzzles. And that really is a sad statement on the port, the like iPad port of the remake of The Seventh Guest, is that the only way they were able to make any improvement to the game at all was to simply say, we've made it so some puzzles are optional. But I really can't offer too much of a better suggestion. The truth of the matter is, a lot of these puzzles should just not be in the game, or should be optional at the very least. So you're supposed to look up here, and there's the Seventh Guest disc, which you would think these would be Easter eggs and not things that you actually would have to find or look at, but apparently not. So weirdly, I guess this is direct confirmation that the Seventh Guest in this universe is a video game that was created based on the stories or the events of what actually happened in this house. Unless they're trying to make the argument that the house was just a soundstage always and there were no horrific events. I don't think either one of those really makes sense. The truth of the matter is, this is really just they wanted to make some animations, and then they ran out of budget and went over time, and then had to smash together what they had done into a game. I don't know how 500 equals 100 equals 0 makes any sense though. Like, walkthrough is definitely not explaining any of the puzzles solutions.
I've come to tell you the truth. If you're ready for it. Come in.
And since you have the story in the first game, the reveal in the first game, spoiler for the ending of the first game, is that Ghost has just been reliving the events of something that happened like hundreds of years ago.
Blend a teapot shot, and the pearlies won't rot.
I feel like this is a golf reference. I haven't seen any golf anywhere, so I think it's probably in a room I haven't even entered. Unless it's in the billiards room again, which might be the case. Yep. So it could be that the events that are all completely supernatural that happened in the first game are currently going on right now, and this is sort of a prequel, sort of a like at the same time. It could be that the ghost of Tad is wandering around the house, just unable to see it in its current state because he's basically a poltergeist, just reliving memories. Leave the lab in the chapel, the walkthrough says. Which, if I had gone the right direction, some of these sound effects, like the heartbeat, stink. And definitely the layout of how to get from one place to the other really is not understandable. Okay. So it says, leave the bedroom. These directions would be better if they were a little bit more clear instead of just saying turn right, go forward, then enter the left door to the bathroom. It says look at the sink, and then click on the toothpaste. Okay, so it was blend a teapot shot and the pearlies won't rot. Why that's this toothpaste is the answer to that riddle. I don't really know. It half makes sense. Just all of these are like Ghostbuster levels of ridiculous ghosts.
Slyness holding shipment in chop.
Well, I think that would probably be the Victrola in the art room again, or something in the art room. There is, I think, something that happens after Ghostbusters 2 in particular, that where fiction and sci-fi really needed to have its own magic system, its own understandable system. It's no longer after Ghostbusters 2 and people not liking that one as much as Ghostbusters 1. It's no longer acceptable for things to just happen just because. And certainly in this game, you do see things are just happening just because. And at best, you just could assume Stauf is messing with you, and he just is a very creative ghost that can make himself appear and make visions appear to screw with you. I mean, that's really all you can take from it. But as a game and as a design, it doesn't work. Like, it should just be consistent in theme and feeling. And any one of those individual spooky things, if they look silly, that pulls the player out of the world and out of the feeling of it being scary. And certainly, to my eye, as a modern person in 2020, it all looks silly. So apparently I'm supposed to have turned left according to the walkthrough, and then gone forward 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to the right and into here. We haven't been in this room before. Seems to be there's a guillotine in it. I recall there being kind of a complicated puzzle in this room originally, and that this room is weird because it has like multiple doors that all seem like they would go to the hallway, but they don't. I'm not sure that they all go anywhere. And the walkthrough just wants us to look at this cube and do this puzzle. Let's see. You need to start from the bottom left of the corner and finish at the top right. So, let's see if we can get a hint.
I bet you just die to figure this one out.
Keep trying, Carl. You're getting closer.
You get the exact same line of dialogue each time.
You have to make a path from the starting die face to the ending one at the opposite side of the cube.
Okay. What are the rules here? Where do I start here? Seems like I can click on this 4 or click on this 4. So you're starting here and you can go there, and then what just stops you from going there, and then what stops you from going there, and why is 2 didn't let me go diagonally to the 6, and then why does that let me get to the 5, and why is that?
You're just guessing.
I did 5 and 5, and so maybe you can only use one number once. Well, I haven't used 2, so why can't I use 2? Well, at that point I click the 5 and then the 2 automatically fills in. And then I click the 5 again.
But no cigar.
So again, the rule's completely not explained. Like, so easy to fix this too. Every puzzle. Pause the game, pop up some rules. Write a paragraph to explain things to me. That's all I need. Well, apparently, the solution using the walkthrough is this, then this, then skip to this point, and then this, and that apparently fills in this and this, and I have no idea why it does that. And then it says you click this and then this.
You'll not find the next one as pleasant.
How many more puzzles do we have? A decent number of them still, so I can't really power through. And then we're still on the same hint. Exit the siege. The solution to this puzzle was to click the guillotine, which I guess you could have probably done before you did the puzzle. And I guess this will be it for today. It seems like her wrist is not even caught between the 2 gates, but actually is just in between 2 bars and 1 gate. But I guess that's how she lost her hand. And then that leaves us with...
Poor drainage could still produce a flower.
Like, there's several flowers in paintings and such around the world, around the area. There's actually no real world flowers I think I've seen. And so I would just assume that it's probably one of the flowers on the painting in the hallway, or it has nothing to do with flower F-L-O-W-E-R, but flower F-L-O-U-R, which would then be the kitchen. And poor drainage might be a hint at porridge. But that's where I'm gonna leave this recording. Like, we could go another 10 minutes and we could solve a couple more puzzles. Depending on how many actual puzzles are in the next act and the act after that, we might be able to finish in the next recording. But I kind of don't think it, because this still is managing to waste a lot of people's time, including mine. Like, there is still enough of that going on where I should probably be
trying, Carl.
naming these different things. There's still 2 locations we haven't solved the puzzle in. I don't even know if we've been in those rooms. And then there's like 3 locations we haven't done anything with. The music room, and the underground, the doll room. I kind of feel like we're gonna finish in the doll room, considering that the fan game is the 13th doll. Maybe we don't even make it to the room at the top. We'll just have to find out later. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.